शान्ताकारां भुजगशयनां पद्मनाभं सुरेशाम् शान्ताकारां भुजगशयनां पद्मनाभं सुरेशाम् विश्वाधारं गगनसदृशं शान्ताकारां भुजगशयनां पद्मनाभं सुरेशाम् विश्वाधारं गगनसदृशं शान्ताकारां भुजगशयनां पद्मनाभं सुरेशाम् Amen.
There she is.
Wait, can you hear me? Hi.
Hi.
Hi, handsome.
Look at you, gorgeous.
Oh, happy belated birthday.
Thank you. Beautiful.
You're looking good.
Oh, look at that background.
I know.
Is it like, I can't tell if it's real or if it's memorized.
It's real. It's real. She's real. Yeah, it's real.
Oh my God. I know. I thought, wait a minute. I don't see the little haze around the body.
I know. I see a lot of people doing that. I just figured, I do the real thing.
Well, and your lighting setup is stunning. I had a brand new, what is it, camera here.
Oh, yeah.
And it stopped working.
Oh, no.
And it actually was very nice. I mean, it worked for like 2 weeks. So I luckily have these little lights and.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, I'm actually in, I'm living in Las Vegas, and we have a center here. It's called a Place for the Stars, and so we do different events here, and so I record a lot of things here. So we have lighting, and I didn't set up. We have a pod mic and all that stuff, and so hopefully you can hear me okay, right?
Oh my God.
Very good.
Your voice, I was like writing notes and everything down and just thinking about knowing you all these years, and you just come. Where did you get this place of healing? You just can just sit there and smile, and everybody around you goes.
You're so sweet.
Where does that come from?
It's taken a lot of work, baby.
Oh.
Internal work. No, we all have that. We all have that, really. It's just, the process of uncovering what isn't that, removing the blocks to love's presence. Mm-hmm. That's the journey of life, is to removing all the blocks that love can really be. And so, yeah, I mean, I was always, woo-woo since I was young.
Really? Did you come out of the
woo-woo? The womb all woo-woo. I don't know. We'd have to ask my mom about that. But I don't remember if I ever said it out loud. I probably didn't. But I specifically remember at around the age 4, about 4 years old, I had a phrase that I would say that was, I am here to facilitate a shift on the planet.
At 4?
4, yeah.
You're doing it.
So it was always there, and I always had, visions or feelings or, and I would always get, pulled into interesting things like past life regression work or transformational work like LifeSpring, which if people don't know what LifeSpring is, it's like EST or the Forum now, that kind of, I was just always a seeker of truth and a seeker of who I am. Well, what is the purpose of life and what am I here for was always there, even when I was young.
Did that come before your singing, your voice?
Probably at the same time. I mean, I remember, it's funny, I have a memory I don't know how old I was. It was younger than 4. It could have been like 2 or 3 or something. And I have this memory of being in the living room and my mom was doing something behind, like somewhere, like laundry or dishes, or she was doing something. And she had like probably PBS. And I remember there was an opera singer singing, and she was a brunette. I don't know who it was, but I just have this memory of this singer singing. And I remember pointing and thinking or saying in my head, like, yeah, that, that, I want to do that. I remember that, you know. And then I used to sing, mom said I used to sing a lot at home. And then I would sing, I would go to school in the 2nd grade. And there every Friday would be show and tell, and I would come with a song.
Oh. Do you remember one of your first songs that you learned?
I do. Well, actually, not my first. I remember the first time I performed in front of people because out of that, the teacher said, "Oh, there's a talent show at school, and you should go in it." And then, you know, that was an elementary school, so 2nd grade was one of the youngest to 6th grade kind of thing. And I remember I went out and I sang my favorite things from Sound of Music with no music, raindrops on roses and whiskers on kittens, you know, just like this little 7-year-old singing. And mom always tells us, I remember the feeling of being backstage. It's, you know, it's the cafeteria auditorium at a school.
I love it. Yeah.
Backstage. I remember that feeling, and I remember going out, and I remember what it looked like. And I remember it being really quiet, and my mom's experience is like you could hear a pin drop, you know, and then I won the talent show, and then I got singing lessons, and then it just went from there. It was like different singing groups.
I remember when I was in 3rd grade, something like that, I melted on stage. I was Frosty the Snowman.
Oh, that's so cool.
In the cafeteria, you know, the stage there.
So cool.
But, and so you went on to keep singing.
Yeah, I went on to keep singing, and I did every kind of style. I feel very, very blessed that my family, my parents were just very supportive and just allowed me to express. And we always magnetized the most interesting teachers. And so I was drenched in every kind of music. So my first singing teacher, we would do, it was not like traditional scales and singing and stuff. We would sing pop songs. So I was singing Neil Diamond and old school Michael Jackson and Aretha Franklin and the Carpenters. And, you know, so I would always, I'm 7 years old in voice lessons singing Song Blue, you know, or Why Do Birds Suddenly Appear? So I had such a pop, yeah, I had such a pop of, you know, pop music base. And then it just kind of progressed from there. I did musical theater, I did classical training, I did Christian music. There was never nothing.
Plethora
of country music when I was young, all the way up until my old age.
Oh, yeah, right. Well, that explains a lot why you're one of my favorite singers of all time, because of the diversity that you have in your work.
Yeah.
I mean, you have, I mean, from, I loved From Egypt to Omaha.
Yeah.
And then, of course, I mean, one of my favorite songs too is I'll Keep You.
Oh, yes.
From the Pool.
You know that song is like unreleased. There are only like a handful of you that even know that song. There's all this music that hasn't been like released yet. You're in the elite group.
Ooh! Well, release it, baby, release it.
But you know, it was so great because I had, at certain times, I had some people would say, you know what, in order to succeed in the entertainment business, you have to pick one thing. They would say, pick one thing. So if you're gonna do Broadway, you gotta just focus only on Broadway and do Broadway. If you wanna do classical, you gotta focus only on that. And I was just like, yeah, that's not gonna happen. That's not me, you know.
Who said that? Don't tell me, but.
Well, just different. That's just like what they say, when people who are in the business in some way are certain teachers. But the majority of the people around me, they would just say, just express and just be. So I moved around a lot in different genres, and I think that's as a child, I think that's so key because I mean, as a child, but even as our childlike essence, we're everything. So to limit myself into one thing, I'm not one thing. And we can reinvent ourselves at age 40, at age 50, at age 60, at age, it's not, oh, I got to be stuck into this one thing the whole time. It's like the more I can just be open and explore and see what's called for, what my heart is calling for me to do, is just so important. I think these days, there's so much influence of social media, or I want to be liked, or I watch all these kids or people coming up in the business, and it's just, I want to sound like that person, or I got to be like that person. And, I'll teach voice lessons, and especially to the young kids. And I'm thinking, you want to emulate someone and something that's not even real. Like they'll come in and start singing, David, and they're singing like an artist, but they're singing the auto tuning. They're not even singing. I said, you're not even singing like a person. Like I want to hear. Yeah, like they're emulating the computer sounds that are in people's voices, because that's just what is in there. And it's like, oh, let me hear your voice. Like, I think it's just so important.
What would you tell somebody who's, I don't know, like you mentioned, 30, 40, 50, 58, if you said, okay, I'm feeling like I need to reinvent myself a little, how would I go about that?
I would ask, do you meditate?
I do, not enough, but I do.
I would start with that. I would start with meditation. I would start with cultivating listening to one's inner voice versus any outer voice, to then see what does my inner voice have in store for me. Because my higher self, and whatever anybody wants to put, some people would call it God, spirit, energy, whatever it is, but what do you have in mind for me? Because it's so much bigger than what I can see from where I am. My perspective of everything is just, my background of where I came from, what's happening in the moment, and what I think could happen later. But there's this bigger thing, and that voice is always speaking inside. It's just not the loudest voice.
The voice.
So that's what I do all the time. The quieter I get, and the more obedient I get to the quiet voice, so much more is revealed as to what's next. I get guided. I would love one of my my spiritual teacher, not one of my spiritual teacher years ago.
Yeah.
She said this phrase that stuck with me, and she said, "God knows your phone number." I was like, wow, that's really profound. I sat with that for a long time. I was like, that's really profound. So that came at a time when I was hustling a little bit. Like I had a lot of, I was working on some music, and, I've got all the creative stuff going. I got the music, but then here's the next part, right? How do you translate the creativity into the business? Right? Like I have this amazing songs that I wrote, or I have this amazing talent, but how do I get hired for the job? Or how does the album get released? Or how does that kind of thing. And at that point I was, getting it together and there was a little stress around it. Like, well, okay, I was guided on what I was writing, and I was inspired and everything. And then it's like, I kind of felt stuck. Like, what do I do with this next part? It wasn't coming as quickly as the writing part. And then that was the time when she says, God knows your phone number. And I thought, oh, yeah, like the phone will ring, like someone will walk in the door, like trust the magic and the of life, instead of thinking I have to do something out of safety, like I'm not okay, or my gift isn't enough, or I have to do it myself. And I really surrendered to that in the moment, and the phone started ringing and things started happening because of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm sure you have experiences like that.
I have, and but the way you describe them, and feeling your presence even through the screen, it makes me realize that I have to even open up more. My windows are like this rather than this, or the doors.
You got to listen to Barbara's Piece of Sky.
Is that one of your favorite songs?
Yeah, it's one of my favorite songs. It's one of my favorite Barbara songs to sing, for sure.
And you do it so stunningly. It's one of
but the lyrics are so profound, because it's basically saying, why settle for a piece of sky that I can only see out of this window?
Right.
To what you're saying, it's like, let me open up all the windows. Let me get out of the house. Let me see the vastness of unlimited possibilities that I am,
the song, Alan and Marilyn Bergman.
I know.
Marilyn.
I know.
What is your definition of soul?
My definition of soul is very immersed in Egyptian mysticism, which is something that I study. And the soul is the chooser, the one who chooses which voice to listen to. Am I going to listen to my ego, or am I going to listen to the higher power, to spirit? So that's the soul. So whatever's on my heart, it's like there's always going to be two voices. The ego's voice is always going to be the loudest.
Is it difficult for you? Do you feel the struggle a lot, or?
I used to in my 20s. Wait, you mean I'm not 20 anymore? Did I reveal?
I thought you were 28.
Great. So only 8 years ago. It's only been 8 years of complete transformation. 8 years. It used to be, absolutely, because there was so much pressure that I had on myself. I mean, since I was a little kid, people would say, oh, when you get famous, buy me a house, in my family, like, oh, you're going to be the next Barbara, you're going to be the next, And there's just so much pressure that a young person can feel, and then if it's not coming as fast enough, or it's not coming the way I think it should, or other people think it should, then there's this sense of failure, or the sense of urgency, or the sense of, and that's the ego's voice of, you're not going to make it, or, whatever that nagging,
right,
that we all know about, But yeah, there was a huge turning point for me, and it was when I was struggling I was doing a lot of music, and it was at that time I was sharing about how to make it happen, and the thing, God knows your phone number, and there was all this stuff that came up. I just stopped. I had some friends, and my brother in particular thought I was crazy, because they were like, what do you mean, you're just stopping music? I said, yeah, I'm just gonna stop for a minute. And I had like all these projects and this album and all this stuff, and I literally just put it on the shelf, and I just started traveling. I traveled to Egypt, and I traveled to India, and I traveled to Peru, and I was just dove into self-realization. Who am I, and why am I here, and what's really important, and it's something that I look at now that even famous people do. Famous people burn out. You hear it, they disappear, and all of a sudden they're in India in an ashram.
Right.
You know what I mean? Or they're off on an island and they disappeared, and then they come back. Everybody, it doesn't matter what walk of life, at some point, we all are yearning for that peace of mind, and that feeling of who am I, and that.
Well, especially during this time, I mean, the last year on and off, I've been thinking I want to shave my head and go to the top of a mountain somewhere. to get away from people. And my uncle told me before he passed, he said, yeah, but there'll be somebody on that mountain to like tap your.
There sure will. With you, of course. You're not here to be alone, honey.
Oh my God.
I'm not that type. No, we already lived that life. Some other life, we were monks on a mountain. Now it's being the monk in the world.
Oh my God. Talking about mountains,
Yeah.
sacred stones.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God. That's another one of my favorite songs of yours. And the video, stunning.
Awesome.
Sometimes I turn that on just to meditate.
Yeah. It's a visual meditation. That was definitely the intention of it. And that came about so beautifully. Someone just called me up and said, Shauna, she was really wonderful. She's like, I love this song and I meditate to it and I hear you sing and I want to do this video. And it all just came together so beautifully. But even the song, it's originally by Sheila Chandra. She's an Indian, very famous Indian pop artist. And I used to listen to it and meditate to it. It was just something that was personal for me. And then one time I was in a sweat lodge, Native American sweat lodge. And I was called to sing upon, and I didn't even have any thought. I'd never opened my mouth and sung that song out loud because I was always just meditating to it and listening to it. And I just sung it out loud in the sweat lodge. And ever since that moment, people have asked me to sing that, and it's been, gosh, I don't know how many years.
Right.
It's 20 years, 18 years or something like that.
Wow.
Yeah, just the energy and the vibration of that. It's a sacred chant for anyone who's wants to know. So
it's gorgeous. You
yeah.
got to go to YouTube. Do you sell it on? I mean, do you have it on an album?
I do. Yeah.
Okay.
You can find me on iTunes. Just put in.
iTunes is the best.
Yeah, iTunes. Everybody's streaming these days. I think I'm on everything.
You're a streamer.
Spotify and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, okay.
I think.
Yeah. I think. What about heart? Your definition of heart?
Just love, heart, love, all-encompassing. Yeah, love.
I tell you, I want to thank you again, and now I'm thanking you here again for the heart and the love that you after my heart healing, as I call it, you got up on that stage and sang with so much love at the Catalina Jazz Club. You're just so amazing.
It was such a highlight to be there to celebrate you and to honor you, and I love that place, and you just had such a fabulous lineup, and it was just so fun to celebrate that way, to celebrate your life that way.
Interesting, that I still don't really, you don't, sometimes you go past stuff and you go, did that happen to me? Am I still here, or is this real? So, do you ever feel that way sometimes, that you just all of a sudden go, my life is so different. Is this a dream? Is this, you do?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Well, you have a dream life, right? I mean, you've always had a dream life.
Yeah, it's amazing. I feel like if I could never have told you what all this ahead of time. I couldn't have written this. You know what I mean? Like it's always like looking back, like how did that happen, and then how did that happen? I know moments of when I had made decisions, but it wasn't like a decision like this is going to happen. You know how people go, oh, you got to do your 5-year plan and plan where you are every year, and I'm like, yeah, I don't plan. I'm not a planner. I think planning is actually a defense against the truth. So planning is actually like I'm blocking myself from the actual flow of what could really happen, because it's like my word is powerful. Like I believe the mind is the most powerful thing. So what I'm thinking, what I'm saying, I'm creating. And so if I say this is going to happen to me, it's like, what? Well, I don't know. Let me be surprised. Maybe it'll be better.
Right.
Maybe even, but I do remember moments like I did ask myself at one point, you know, do I want to be famous? Because that was kind of what I heard growing up, like, oh, you're going to be famous or be famous. And I had to sit with myself and I thought, what does that even mean?
Mm.
And I thought, okay, well, I want to be successful. Well, what does that even mean? Like, successful in what terms? Like a lot of successful people killed themselves, jumped out of windows, or drank too much, or were miserable, or, is that the kind of success? I mean, I loved Whitney Houston. It's like, is that the route that I would go if I went that path? So it was like I really sat with it and I thought, okay, let me take all that away. Take all the pressure of whatever success, whatever the world would say fame or success or any of that would be. It's like, what, to your question about the heart, what's on my heart? What's my heart saying? What would make my heart sing forever? And I thought, well, it's not an award because that's not lasting. It's not an applause because that's not lasting, as you would know as a performer. In the moment, it's thrilling. But then what happens? It doesn't even last like more than 5 minutes. It could only last 30 seconds. And then it's, and I thought, what would I love? Like, what's on my heart? And I remember getting to and feeling like I would just love to just sing in all over the world in interesting places. And that was it. It wasn't like specific. It was just like, I just would like to experience the world and just share, like lend my voice to the scenery.
Yeah.
That was the feeling that I had. And I just held that in my heart and the phone started ringing. And so, and I would never, I could never have written that. Like I could never have like planned it. And it's not the same. It doesn't land the same. If I said, oh, I'm going to plan a trip to Machu Picchu and go sing on the top of, it's like, no, like all of a sudden I found myself on the top of Machu Picchu with shamans singing. And then I found myself, in India in front of gurus that were manifesting, things in their hands and all this stuff. And they would ask me to sing. And then in the pyramids and the temples in Egypt chanting and singing. And I thought, wow, like this is so fulfilling. And it's something, that phrase, you can't take it with you.
Yeah.
Like you can't take the physical stuff with you. It's like only thing that I could take with me is my consciousness. So my evolved consciousness and these experiences traveling and these experiences, actually communing with different cultures and people and seeing you, like right now, I'm looking at you, David, and I'm just seeing you as pure love. And it just is filling my heart with so much joy and so much light. And that, my friend, is successful. And that is famous, And so one of the things I've been doing for a while now, as you know, is I'm singing with, it's a nonprofit group called The Stars.
Yes.
Which stands for Singers Taking Action, Reaching Souls. And we're all in this conversation together, all of us. So when we go and sing and perform, our intention and our vibration is we're not singers. We say we're heart surgeons. We like to get up on the stage and just sing the vibration of love and crack open everybody's hearts so that they could feel joy and peace and love and be seen. I think everybody just wants to be seen.
Yeah.
And so that's what my work has evolved into. And I know just based on experience, because sometimes people will come to me, I'm performing somewhere and they're like, oh, do you teach voice lessons? Or more so they'll say, oh, I'm a performer, and can you tell me how you got to where you are? Can you tell me, and a lot of people, they genuinely are asking, like, and they think like, give me the steps, like what class do I take, or what lessons, what kind of vocal things? And, you know, it's kind of like, wow, it's a bigger, you're asking a big question. It's like, you know, I start with, do you meditate?
Mm. Yeah.
You know, do you explore who you are and why you're here? Do you know the purpose of life and your life?
Mm.
You know, and sometimes they'll revisit it, and sometimes they just are like a little freaked out. They just want to get an answer, you know.
Well, you know, it's so interesting too what you're saying about that. I so saw a visual, what is path that some people take, like the Whitney Houston's, or who knows what her path was exactly,
Sure.
but if you start with, do you meditate, and you see the path just grow, and it comes from a loving, healing place.
Absolutely.
You mentioned a couple different places, India, Egypt, and
Mm.
some people, and you're so exotic. it it feels, you know, exotic, but
Thank you
you
for
know,
that.
sometimes I feel like I'm from not Mars, but some planet out there we haven't figured out. Where are you from?
Like, really? Like, which planet?
I know it's like the same
I'm not
planet.
supposed to reveal that on the
Oh, okay, never mind.
know exactly where I'm from. I mean, my physical being was born in Los Angeles.
Oh, okay,
Born in Los Angeles. Yeah.
nice. I like that. See, I was born in the Bay Area.
Yeah. See,
Mhm.
California, honey.
But yeah, you're so right at that. I love that because we all take, and whether it's that kind of question, where are you from? Because the physical being, the spiritual being, and we're so talking about this now. You know, it was another spiritual moment for me from you was when you sang for this Eric Newton Circus.
Oh, yeah. I love that.
What song was that again from the movie Bjork?
Oh, gosh,
Uh,
so long ago.
I'm
I
gonna
know
have
exactly what you're saying. I'll have to look it up.
I have to look it up too. It was from the movie, and okay, I love that song. But I mean, that's a song if you ever record it. I think you should record that song. I'm gonna look it up. I forgot what it was too.
I'll record it just for you, even if it's just me in my living room, and I'll sing.
Oh! Movie song. Okay, I'm looking it up.
I'll do the whole thing. I'll make sure there's lighting and like a fan so it looks like, you know, I'll do a whole, you know, show for you.
Okay, okay. Well, I know it was from Dancer in the Dark, so.
Shoot, you're better than I am. Woo, that's nice.
Well, I'm just looking close. It'll come to me. Oh my
But
God.
that, I mean, that was God knows my phone number. I was doing other things, and then you were the one that called. You were the one that called and said, I want you to meet Eric Newton.
Well,
I think your music is perfect. And we didn't know each other. And we got into the room, and it was just like literally like fireworks. Like, what? And then all of a sudden, I'm in the midst of Cirque du Soleil performers, and everyone's performing to my music that I'm writing. And I
and
mean,
they did the video to it, a video too.
we did a video to that, and that was such an amazing experience, you know. And I just have to share one story about that I love. This is an example of just saying yes and being open. So, which was always my experience with these particular, and probably all Cirque performers, because I think you've got to have some sort of like, yes, I'll do anything if you're gonna fly and jump around and do the things that they do. We got hired to open. We were at Santa Monica Airport in a big hangar, and it was opening for Sheryl Crow and Dwight Yoakam and a bunch of different people, and they wanted us to open with a few songs and Cirque stuff. So we got there and we did the sound check, and I'm singing my original stuff and they're doing all their Cirque stuff. And then we finished, and then we had this long break where they asked us not to leave. We were supposed to stay there. And so we're sitting there, and you know, they're getting creative and antsy just sitting there, the Cirque performers. And then they said, have you ever sung on stilts? And I said, no. They're like, you want to try? I said, sure, why not? So they put me on stilts, and I was walking around, and they're like, wow, you have really great balance. I said, yeah, I feel really strong. Well, could you sing? And I was like, yeah, I can sing. He says, do you think you can sing tonight? Like opening for all these people on stilts with no rehearsal, with no anything. And I said, yeah, I can do it. And then we just got into this big flurry of having to find a costume, and they're like sewing a new costume for me with the stilts and the whole thing. And it wasn't, from that experience, I did a lot of stilt singing with them. But that particular time, there were the pogo stick stilts.
Yeah.
So I'll never forget, because of course, I just said yes. Like singing, and I'm drenched in sweat, and I'm like, this is a lot harder than I thought, because you have to keep moving.
Right.
On the stilts. So I'm like moving like this with a microphone in my hand, 5 feet taller than I am on stilts, breath support, singing. And I was just like, okay, well, let's do it. I said, yes, let's do it. And it was awesome. It was just awesome. So many experiences like that, just opportunities to say yes and expand. But I would never have written down in my 5-year plan, I'd like to sing on stilts, opening for Sheryl Crow. It's like, you don't know. You can't say what you're going to do. One can just listen to her heart and then follow that. It's like, so if I love to sing, let me sing because I love to sing, not I want to make money from it, or I got to pay my rent from it, or I got to, it's like, let me just stay in the exploration and the enjoyment of it. And if it's relevant, then the phone will ring, for different opportunities.
Do you teach healing classes or meditation, or had you written a book or want to write a book?
I have not. I teach voice, which yesterday was interesting because I was with a group of people and I was leading a voice rehearsal, actually. And it turned into a spiritual healing conversation, tears, and so I always say I'm an unconventional voice teacher, because it turns into whatever really needs to come up, and it ends up being more about one's voice that's blocked by the physical stuff, but it's more, let me rephrase that. It's not the physical that's blocking it. It's the emotional, mental, spiritual that may be hindering one's singing voice. And so I find that most of the time, people that come to me for voice lessons, it ends up not being about singing. So
what's the biggest blessing in your life?
You just, when you said that, I saw my twin boys when you said that. I didn't even have to think. You just said that, and they'd like, boop, it just like popped up. These little twin.
Gorgeous too.
How did I get twins? What the hell?
Well, there's a path you didn't expect, huh?
Oh, no. People are like, do you have twins in your family? I'm like, no, didn't know. No, we were getting the ultrasound, and I'm like, oh, lying there, and they're like, oh, I see the heartbeat, and I'm like, wow. They're like, oh, and here's the other one, and I was like, what? You could hear me scream down the street outside the office. I was like, what? And I was literally, I was just like this. And then the lady gave me a tissue. She was very sweet. She gave me a tissue, and she said, this is for when the tears come.
Oh.
And then maybe 5 minutes later, I was like, But they're amazing. They're amazing,
They are. I mean,
2.5, Dakota and Cheyenne. And I'm so excited to see what they're here to do on the planet. David, they know all the words and can sing a perfect pitch. Frozen, Moana. Because, I'm a huge musical theater person, so we play Disney all the time. But like all the, I'm like, what? So it's just really exciting to.
I can imagine them 2 years old, right?
Yeah.
I can imagine rapping to Hamilton.
Oh yeah, they do raps, and I'll have to send you some stuff.
Oh, I can't wait.
They're just such a joy, and it's so I feel so excited because I know who I am, that I could just be a space for them to create and explore. And like I just want I'm just I feel like I'm just this space of yes for them. Whatever you want to try, whatever you want to see, like you show me who you are.
Mm,
Like I don't have anything to teach you, you know, like like that, it's like I'm here to support you and to maybe help guide you, but you just come on. I'm
mm.
really surprised. So yeah, that's just the biggest blessing right now is to see that.
What do you want the most at this moment in your life?
Chocolate shake? No, I'm kidding.
I just had a lemon fudge, so
You did? Oh, I don't know. I don't really want that. I don't do sugar like
you don't do milk
I just
products.
wanted to like that was when you said that, that's what I saw. The Oreo cookie shake. I saw that. So interesting. Maybe because I'm cleansing right now, the shake. But I think that represents fun.
Yeah.
I think and the twins are really bringing more of that out in me. I'm really transforming to be kid-like even more with them. You know, I think there are times where I could be a little too serious.
Mm,
Um, and so fun, like more fun, joy, laughter, but fun, like a 2-year-old fun, like running through the house and wow, that's
crawling under the table and putting.
yeah, and jumping on things. And I think that's probably what the Oreo cookie shake represents, like,
Right.
you know, yeah.
Thank you so much.
Oh my gosh, thank you.
You're such a joy, and I can't wait to see you sing again. Are you? When's
No.
your next performance?
Um,
We know.
I have some private things kind of starting up. It's been so quiet with COVID,
With right.
all that. It's been so quiet. I have to say that it was a blessing for me. Sorry, everyone else, but it was because it came at the perfect time. Because it was right. The kids were just a few months old, 6 months
Right.
old. And so I never had to turn down any jobs. There just weren't any jobs.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I was home with the kids, and which is what I was going to do anyway. And then, so it was really cool because I never had to like go, oh, I want to do this job, but I should be. I never had any of that. And it feels like now the kids are at an age where, they're older. They're not infants. It's a different thing. So they're older and they can be with their grandparents and different things while I go out. And this year it feels, I can feel it. I know I have something in Sedona in April.
In April?
Uh-huh. Why are you going?
No, but I would love to see you sing in Sedona. I know how spiritual and loving. I've been there
Yeah,
twice.
so I know there's something in Sedona. I just heard today that the stars, we may be going to Spain in July. I know I'll be singing in Las Vegas in June. So stuff is coming up. We got a call. It's so great. The guy from Manny from Catalina keeps calling. He's like, please, 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 can you come sing? Can you come sing? I was like, okay, yeah, yeah. So sometime we'll be at the Catalina in Los Angeles. So
Okay, keep me updated.
yeah, for sure.
And I can't wait to see you. I can't wait to see you sing and hear you sing and feel you sing next, because I know after these 2 years of having these bundles of joy, your soul has like, and your
Honey, I'm in the best voice of my life.
I
I
bet.
have been singing Elsa, Let It Go for 2 years, every day, 5 times a day. Okay. I was telling my husband Kevin, I said, I'm in the best voice of my life. I think these kids are getting me prepared for something. Just sitting at home wailing, and one of the neighbors said, "Sometimes I can hear you singing to your kids." And I was like, "Oh my God." Like I went, "Oh God." She goes, "No, no, no, it's amazing." I'm thinking, "Oh, they're growing up with like a real Disney princess in their house." But yeah, I'm ready, it's great. I look forward to any opportunity to share this gift because I get to experience so much joy from it and get to meet so many amazing people and then just see what Spirit has in store. What's next? We'll see. I love you.
I love you
Mhm.
very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
This was fun.
Awesome.
It's like God throwing pebbles at your window. Go on by and open it this time. It's like God throwing pebbles at your window. Feel the way I love you, and the rest will subside. I will never leave you. My voice is your guide. Feel my arms around you if you're willing to ride. Peace of mind will join you for the rest of your life. I feel alright. Feel alright. Feel alright. Feel alright. Feel alright. Now you say you're lonely. You've cried the long night through. Well, you can cry me a river. Cry me a river. I cried a river over you. Now you say you're sorry for being so untrue. Well, you can cry me a river. Cry me a river. I cried a river over you. I believe that we will be loved eternally. believe in you and me. Aram Bhujagasayanam Padmanabham Suresham Shandagaram Bhujagasayanam Padmanabham Suresham flying through the clouds. Flying free, I am the one who overcomes the dream. I roll like the thunder of God's epic scheme. I move like a river flowing out to sea. Flying through the clouds, casting doubt on all the fearful things that hold us to the ground. Flying through the clouds, soaring high into the rising sun, where peace and love abound. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. I am the feather blowing